The Bank of Canada rate cut seen revitalizing housing market after sleepy May.
Wow.
Were you sleepy in May?
No, I was actually quite busy despite the headlines.
Yeah. So, hey, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're talking about headlines today. And specifically, I just read the headline to you. That's an article from the Financial Post talking about the interest rate that we just saw, the interest rate reduction.
Yay, we're down a quarter point.
Down a quarter point. So wonderful. However, we said from the start, that's great that we're in the process and moving in the right direction with interest rates, but it's not going to make an immediate change to the market.
I hope everyone is like, they realize that it's not going to be an immediate fix. It might offer some reprieve to anybody who's starting to renew their mortgages now if they were on a shorter term mortgage.
Yeah. So let me read some of the highlights of the article here. An interesting point that is made here is the question now turns to further rate cuts, specifically how fast and how far. Now, that's a different conversation, but that's something certainly that needs to be considered when we talk about what the market is doing. But let me continue on from there. Home sales across across Canadian MLS systems dipped by 0.6% over the month of May, maintaining a level slightly below the 10-year average. The dip occurred despite a 5.5% increase in new listings, suggesting that the market remained relatively stagnant. Robert Kavcic, senior economist at BMO, says this: the Bank of Canada finally cut rates and the housing market response has been more listings, not more sales. And then I want to read one other thing that he included in here that I thought was, very insightful as well. Again, from the same source. First, we can't possibly double or triple the rate of construction from these levels. I'm going to assume that everybody sees that now. Second, there's a steady stream of completions coming down the pipeline, mostly condos. He's talking about construction. Mostly condos that might be meeting an already soggy real estate market. That means firmer lid on prices and even more heat taken out of rent growth. That was his response. That's from BMO. I think the thing I want to mention about that, and we talked about this right from the start when they announced the interest rate reduction, is it's not going to turn things around overnight. Suddenly the housing market is going to take off. Suddenly everybody that's on the sidelines is going to jump in and get back in the market.
I think at least it'll have some effect on buyer sentiment. Like, maybe this, now that we've paused for more than 6 months for interest rate hikes after those 7 consecutive increases, and everything sort of settled down, I want to say like at least there's no volatility in the market. We're sort of slow to react. There's nothing's gonna happen overnight. I think that's quite good. That kind of removes a lot of speculation out of the market. Where the prices could turn around, just like that. And I know the bank and everybody else, all the experts are warning that the Bank of Canada doesn't want to undo what they've done by lowering their interest rates too quickly.
And that what they've done, they're saying, is with regards to inflation.
In regards to inflation, perfect, right? And they don't want to put fuel onto now basically a steady market, a steady real estate market. So, I think at the end of that article, it's nice to at least hear that completions of projects are coming. Which could mean more inventory on the market. And this isn't the end of the world. Right now, Toronto pre-sale condos, now that they are becoming completed, there's a lot of condo listings happening in Toronto. And it's a ghost town. There's very few sales happening in that segment,
Yeah.
but single family detached and semi detached are still kind of humming along. They're not quite as affected,
Yeah.
but there is quite a bit of inventory for condos. So what can developers do? Well, they might sell off some of the units if they still have ownership of some of them, if they've retained ownership.
Sure.
Investors that purchased, if they can rent it out. So right, we have a record low vacancy rate across Canada. So in places where it's like Vancouver and Toronto, you have a higher density per unit, per household on average.
Yeah.
It's got a higher average than the rest of Canada. Canada is somewhere around like 2.5 people per household on average. Toronto is more like a little over 5.
Okay.
So larger families in spaces. This
Sure.
this doesn't mean there's a house overcrowded. It could just be a bigger house,
Sure.
right? Could mean that there's a couple and a child in a 1 bedroom. They're making do with a smaller space. There could be, or there could be people who are roommates. They could be sharing a space. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not all couch surfing and
Yeah.
something like that. But there is a higher density. This could bring down the condo prices slightly. But I think at some point, people don't want to like lose out on their investment, and they might just hold on for sunnier days.
Yeah, 100%. I think ultimately, as we've been saying, it's not an overnight fix, the rate reduction. I don't know that we need a fix per se, but if people are thinking house prices are going to rebound next month because there was an interest rate reduction this month, that's not going to happen. We might see, it might take 6 months, 8 months, or a year before the housing market, the prices are kind of moving forward again. Again, condos may be a little bit different, but talking about single family, and we're talking about here in Victoria, not Toronto. So when we talk about here, when that price starts to rebound, historically we've seen it continue past where it came from before the downturn.
Yeah, that seems like a typical pattern of, once we've reached our peak, and then we're flat for like 5 or 6 years. Now, Alberta is going through a different scenario.
Yeah.
We're doing, what's happening there is interprovincial migration.
Yeah.
People are leaving places like Vancouver and Toronto, not in alarming rates, but they're leaving, right? They're going to Alberta, the Maritime provinces. I'm not sure about how many people are leaving, like Quebec, really, or Montreal. I know they are leaving. We've done an episode on this.
We did one where in Quebec, those that are leaving, or a lot, are looking to from Montreal to Quebec as a more affordable choice. Quebec City, pardon me.
Yeah.
From Montreal to Quebec City, pardon me.
Gotcha. So, yeah, so I'm not expecting, and even Calgary, let's say, because this influx of interprovincial immigration, people leaving, immigration, I'm going to get them confused.
Potato, tomato, tomato.
They're different, but anyways. Okay, moving on. How long is that going to last? They're going to go through their own little boom and bust cycle.
Sure.
So, that's going to last for so long. And then if that doesn't work out, people will find other places to go to.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the point is the market is coming around and going to come around. It's just like price-wise, it's just not going to happen tomorrow. And I think there are some people that thought, relief, the interest rates have come down. We're going to see my house price is going to go up so I can list my house here right away. I believe in this market that is going to happen at some point. But I guess I'm just saying, based on what we've said here, that they are expecting a resurgence in the market, which I agree with. You're going to see we've seen the surveys where there's 70% of the buyer market that said we're waiting for interest rate reductions. But now they might be saying, well, we're going to wait and see what July has.
Yeah, I think there's a lot less, and this will explain that. There's a loss as soon as the fear of missing out goes away.
Yeah.
The sense of urgency for buyers to make a decision also dissipates, right? I remember seeing this in 2008, 2009, and it's like people could be looking for 2 years. They might be on the sidelines before they start looking, but before they make a decision, they're really looking for something that ticks more of the boxes than when they're under pressure with a fear of missing out, which is seems like
I think that's
it's fair. I think it's fairly gone
right now.
altogether.
Yeah. But when I say we'll see what happens in July, there's potentially another interest rate reduction coming.
Yeah, possibly.
So
and it's probably deserved.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
Sure. And the thing is, at some point, there's going to be buyers that say, "Look, we just need to get back in the market. It is what it is now. We're at a number that makes sense because we do know this: the housing prices are going to go up here, especially. They're going to go up as more buyers enter the market.
Historically, yes.
Yeah. So
you know what? If somebody's thinking about selling right now, it takes patience. Make sure you listen to the advice of your realtor, unless you're in Calgary and you get multiple offers. Well, that's a different market than a lot of Canada.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's going to take a little bit more patience to get your house sold right now. I'm fighting here in Victoria, working with more buyers than sellers at the moment, and this is what's going to typically happen. We're getting some great deals out there. It's easier to find, and it's easier to identify the one that may have potential to get a great deal on.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about renegotiating because something's wrong with the house. I mean, right off the offset.
yeah.
You know, the sellers are a little bit nervous still about what it's going to take.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody is under pressure, and not necessarily under pressure with the interest rate. I think that's a factor.
Yeah.
I don't think that is the main driving factor, at least not yet. How about that?
Sure. Yeah.
At least I'm not finding that yet.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe a little bit too early.
Yeah.
In the phase, in the real estate cycle. So
Sure.
yeah, I think it's a great time to buy right now.
I would agree 100%. This would be the time, and you want to get in before it starts to go up again. Right?
Of course, you guys are realtors. You guys are going to be pumping up the market. You know what? That's okay. You can stay on the sidelines and miss the boat again. I'm sorry, it's harsh. I'm going to get flack for it in the comments. It's okay. Just keep renting. It's fine. You know what? It's like playing Monopoly. You could keep going around the board collecting $200 every time you pass the beginning.
Right. Or you buy some properties and put up some hotels.
And have nothing.
Yeah.
After lap after lap, year after year.
Yeah.
You can have nothing accumulated and build no assets and build no nest egg. I'm really sorry for being harsh. I'm not really. I'm just apologizing because it's a Canadian thing.
Because it's a Canadian thing to do.
But I'm going to spit facts. I'm sorry.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Hope you got some good information out of that. Please take a minute and like and subscribe. It helps us out with getting the word out there. If you know anybody who you think needs to see what we're talking about, please let them know about it.
And of course, if you're thinking of buying or selling real estate in the Greater Victoria area or anywhere on southern Vancouver Island, you can get a hold of us. Our information is in the description below, and we'd be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
See ya.